guys, I'm Evie. Welcome back to Redeemer Kids. And what we're going to be learning about today is a servant who had no mercy. I hope you're going to enjoy this story. Bye.
Hi everyone, welcome to Redeemer Kids. We're so happy you're here today. I'm Elizabeth and this is
Perry.
And we are happy to get to talk to you. Today we're going to be talking about a story from the Bible that involves Jesus telling a story or parable to his disciples. This story is about forgiveness, and I love getting to learn about forgiveness from God. I think we can never be too old or too young to know how to really forgive well. Perry, have you ever had to forgive your little brother Shepherd?
Yes.
Yes. And have you ever had to ask for forgiveness from Shepherd? Yes. And when we forgive people, we want to practice to forgive them fully. So that means we're not holding on to a little piece of what they did, like eating the last chocolate chip cookie or something like that. We're saying, you know what, I forgive you, so I'm not going to think about it anymore, right? And when we ask for forgiveness, that's how we want people to forgive us as well, right? Right, Perry? So should we tell everybody about the story? So the story that we're going to tell you from the Bible today is from the book of Matthew. So that's in the New Testament. And like we said, this is a story from Jesus, and he is talking to his disciples, and he's talking to his disciple named Peter. And Peter asks Jesus a question. He asks Jesus how many times he should forgive someone. And Peter says, should I forgive someone 7 times? And in Peter's mind, 7? That's a good number. It's a 2-hand number, but is that enough, Perry? No. Jesus says, no, Peter, that is not enough times. Jesus wants Peter to forgive 77 times.
Or make it a billion.
Make it a billion, that's right, Perry. That's exactly.
But then he would lose his voice.
He might lose his voice, you're right. But what Jesus is saying here, he's not saying just to stop at 77 times. And if you get to 78, oh, nope, I've run out of forgiveness for you, I'm sorry. No, Jesus is saying that we keep forgiving, right? That we will never get tired of forgiving and that we'll forgive fully. And to help Peter understand this and to help us understand this because we have the Bible, Jesus tells a parable. Now this parable or story starts with a rich king, and this king has lots of people that work for him, and these people are called his servants. And the king is settling up everything and making sure everything is in its right place and his money is all accounted for. And he realizes something. He realizes that one of his servants owes him a lot of money. Do you know how much money he owed him, Perry?
Probably a lot.
Probably a lot. You are very right. He owed so much that it would be thousands of bags of gold.
That would be about 100 bags of gold.
No, it would be thousands. It would even be more than hundreds. So that is way more gold than this servant would ever be able to repay the king. And if I was the servant, I would be getting really worried right now. And this king says, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to have to send you and your family away to be able to make some money. And this servant, he falls to the ground in front of the king and he says, oh, king, please be patient with me. Let me try to repay you back, knowing that he would never be able to repay that back. But he says, please be patient with me, or please forgive me. And do you know what the king does? Perry, what does the king do?
He forgives him.
He does. He says, you know what? I am going to clear your slate. So that means that this servant, he owed all of this money, so much money. And what the king does is he takes it all the way back down to 0. That is amazing. That king was being generous. and he was being quick to forgive.
And kind.
And kind, that's right, Perry. So, you would think that this servant, we'll call him servant number 1, that servant number 1 would be so grateful and happy that the king had been so merciful to him, that he would be really merciful to everybody around him, right? That's not what happens in this story.
Well,
So-
looks like he was nice to one person.
That's right. So let's see.
It's a good thing.
That is a good thing. All right, so let's tell them the rest of the story. So, servant number 1 goes back after the king has forgiven him, and he finds out that another servant owes him some money this time. And this servant owes him 100 silver coins.
That's even more than servant number 1 was gonna pay.
It's actually less. So 100 silver coins is still a lot of money, but it's not nearly as much.
Number 1 would
Yes.
have to pay him that much, just about this much.
That's exactly right. That's perfect. So 100 silver coins, that's still a lot of money, but it's nothing compared to thousands of gold coins. And so do you think that servant number 1 says, you know what, servant number 2, it's okay, I forgive you. Do you think he says that? No. He says, servant number 2, I want my money. But servant number 2 doesn't have that money, and he falls to his
So
knees.
he has to send him away.
So let's listen to the rest of the story. And what he says to him is, he says, servant number 1, I don't have that money. Will you be patient with me and let me figure out how to pay you back? But servant number 1 says, nope, no way. I'm not going to do that. Can you believe that? Can you believe it? And you know what he does? He throws him in jail. That's so sad. He throws him in jail away from his family. Well, the other servants that work for the king, they find out about servant number 1 putting servant number 2 in jail. And they don't like that. So they tell the king. Do you think the king is going to be happy to hear this, Perry? No, you are right.
He
And-
might even get servant number 1 to pay him even more, maybe.
Maybe. Should we tell our friends what happens? So the king comes to servant number 1 and he says, hey, I cleared your debt. I showed you all this mercy. I forgave you. Why have you not forgiven servant number 2? Why did you put him in jail? And the king is very upset. And what the king does is he puts servant number 1 in jail because he didn't show forgiveness. He wasn't quick to forgive. He held on to that grudge of what he felt like he was entitled for, even though it was a small thing compared to the big amount of money he had been forgiven of. So what this story is teaching us is that Jesus has forgiven us really big. He has forgiven us of all the big sins and big things that we do wrong. So, because Jesus has forgiven me and Perry and you big, we can forgive everybody in our life, little and big. So we can forgive when someone cuts in front of us in the queue. We can forgive when somebody eats the last slice of chocolate cake. We can forgive when maybe a little brother, or when they take your dessert, or maybe when a little brother breaks a toy. Or even when we get older, we can also forgive big things, like if someone has not told us the truth or someone's stolen from us. We can forgive because God forgave so big to us, and He's forgiving us all the time. He tells us all we have to do is we have to come to Him. And that is what we should do to our friends and our family and even strangers. So friends, I hope today that you will remember to forgive quickly and to forgive fully and not to hold a grudge and to love like Jesus has loved us. Right, Perry? Can we tell our friends bye?
Bye.
Bye. We hope to see you again soon.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining in on the story. As you heard, it's all about forgiveness. And the best way that we can forgive others is if we know how much we've been forgiven of. So here's a few ideas to help us remember how much we need to be forgiven. Check it out. Okay guys, first idea, you can make a paper chain, and each time you're unkind to your brother or your sister, you can add a link. And each time you go and ask for forgiveness, you can take away a link. Cool. Next idea, you can get a jar and fill it with pom-pom balls. Each time that you disobey your parents, and when you go and ask for forgiveness, you can take a ball out. I bet most of you have learned how to do tallies at school. This idea is that each time that you have a bad attitude at home, you can make a tally mark, and each time you ask for forgiveness, you can take one away. How many of you have ever made a chart before? You can use these really cool stickers to make one. Each time that you realize that you haven't told the truth, you could add a sticker to the chart, and when you go and ask for forgiveness, you can take the sticker away. Finally, you can use these really cool sticks in a jar. The next time that you realize that you're thinking an unkind thought towards somebody, you can write it down and put it in the jar. And when you go and ask for forgiveness, you can take it out of the jar. Hope you enjoyed these ideas. Remember, these are all creative ideas to help us remember when we need to ask for forgiveness, and it's going to help us become people who show forgiveness more quickly and more willingly. Thanks for joining us for this session. Look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday, right here.
See forever, the path is clearer out in front of me. I put one foot in front of the other, keeping my eyes on you, my life following Jesus. I trust you, I trust you. As the world shakes and things break, you are my rock, my everything. As the world shakes and things break, you are my rock, my everything. As the world shakes and things break, you are my rock, my everything. As the world shakes